Alright, let's start this stream for tonight. I think we're live. It's in 60 frames per second and 4040p. If that is correct. Let's see if everything is working. There should be sound because my bar is showing some volume when I'm speaking, so I think that's okay. Let's see if the stream is coming in on YouTube. And if so, then let's post the link. Yeah, there we are. Okay. So let's grab the link. I'm getting a bit down with the chair because I think it looks better. Alright, copy a link. Get it over to Facebook. Right. I know that was the other light. I should add an override in some way because I don't like it when the light switches off automatically during a video or something. So must do that in the future. First, let's notify people that we're live, and with we I mean I and you and I, whoever is watching, because of course, as you can see, I'm here alone, and that's good to me because I like it a bit quiet, you know, sometimes. Had a lot to do today, so it's no problem at all. And let's see if people are coming in. Yeah, we have 3 people. Chris, Jean-Claude, Matt, good evening. Good evening, hello, hello, hola, I mean, niet hallo, that was Dutch. Goedenavond. Bonjour, bienvenue. If you guys need to let me say good evening in another language, please let me know, and I will do my best to pronounce it correctly, because I'm only human. Right, so, oh man, lots of people coming in. So good evening, let's start the show and run the intro. Yeah, I have a new tool here, and I really like it. We'll show you in a second what it's all about. First, let's put on some music here. Let me know if the music in the background is not too soft, not too loud, so I can do it in a perfect way. Really dancing, yeah? I don't mind. My dog dances as well, so I see a lot of dancing here around here. Hey, why is it saying it's offline? Why was that? My YouTube feed said it was offline. Was it offline on your side, guys? Please let me know. I don't know why. Because I changed the settings to. Okay. I will listen back to the stream tomorrow and check what volume settings are correct. Oh, it's a bit too loud. Okay. Well, maybe that was because whoa. Oh, it's too loud at the moment. You mean? I'll put down the music a bit then. But the volume, the microphone volume is it seems okay, I think, because it's not a clipping or something. But the intro music was a bit too loud. I agree. So I'll have to change that. That's all because I reinstalled OBS on this new machine, and I don't think I actually did a live stream yet on this machine. I did a live stream 2 weeks ago from Maarsen, from the Sinclair takeover, but it was on another machine. So okay, the stream is going on, and so YouTube is not offline. It's just not showing it correctly sometimes at my side. But anyway, there's going a feed outwards, so it's 10 megabytes a second, and that's I think the minimum needed, about the minimum needed for this resolution with 60 frames per second. Okay, so the music was too loud. Okay. Well, I've put it down already. I have a program as always, because there's so much to talk about, and sometimes I try to do it all in half an hour, but I never manage it, so most probably will be 1.5 hours or something like that again. But that's not the biggest problem, you know. So, if there's anything you've heard or seen or something and it should be in the show, then please let me know, and I'll try to push it in. I have some topics which surprised me, and I think it's great news, so we'll see about that. I still have to do the giveaway for the 1000 subscriber. I think we're almost at 1100 now. Let's see. No, not yet. We're at 1039, so we have we're way past 1000, and that's great. Still have to do that. I'm using the random result picker to online tune, but I have to collect all the names, and I'm just so busy at the moment with getting new products on the website, and I have to do a lot more work. So we'll let you know in a second what the plans are. So I will talk about it in a second. Let's see. Good evening, Bart. Hey. I thought you had your own live stream at Friday evening, or isn't that always not every week maybe? Anyway, alright, let's see if I'm not forgetting anything. Nope. I have some things, some webpage opened because I want to talk about it in a second. And let's close this down so I'm not distracted. Right. Okay, tonight's snack. Well, I asked my wife to bring this along. She did it over a week ago because last week I wanted to stream, but I didn't manage because of limited time. But these things are really something that remind me of my childhood, and I think I'm not the only one, because who hasn't tasted these ones when they were a kid? So the cola bottles, the small ones, the gummy bottles, and the smell and the taste is so specific for this snack. Sweet, and I still like them, but I think your taste is changing when you get older. Okay. If you were here, you were getting one as well, of course, or two maybe. But I really like the taste. It's such an 40-year-old taste. For me, it is. Although I'm not sure what age I was when I had my first. I don't think it was 2. Right. Bart, I still have to join you in Helmond once when you're going live there with your own stream. I think it would be nice to do the dual stream, then maybe something like that. We'll see. Can do any harm, I think, because I think I will like doing a stream right from the home computer museum there. So if you guys would like that to see that once, then let me know, and I will head over to Helmond, which isn't far, but of course I have to bring some stuff like my new laptop. I bought an i3 laptop, an older one, but that's because I didn't want to put a big one in the big computer in the living room, so we have a second-hand laptop now, and that's good enough for streaming, that sort of thing. But when you're streaming with this Brio camera, it might be too much, but maybe it only depends on the Wi-Fi connection of the computer museum, so we'll see about that. From the Sinclair Tech over 2 weeks ago, I purposely put down the bitrate, of course, because we were on the Wi-Fi from the club, from the home computer club, and I didn't want to push anyone else off the Wi-Fi connection, so we had to share it with many people there. I think there were about 100 people or something, maybe. Yeah, I think so. Cola bottles. But I was talking about taste. What I think about the cola bottles is that your taste changes when you're a kid. The specific taste of any food is different than when you drink or eat something 30 years later. Because, for example, the yogurt drinks that you can buy for kids, as a kid they taste wonderful, like paradise, you know. But when you're 40, it's just yogurt drink with some sweets in it. It's different. But anyway. I still like food and good food. I really like Greek food and Chinese and Indonesian and well, I'm spoiled because my mother comes from Indonesia and we had a lot of Indonesian food when I lived at home for 17 years. So anyway, that's for tonight's snack. There weren't much things that kept me busy that are off topic this week. Because I really did a lot of work on the Harlequin Kits, which went live. The offers on my web shop went live a couple of days ago. I made a specific video for that. If you haven't watched it, and please do. I could link to it, of course, in the description. So let's just do that in a second because it only takes about 30 seconds or something. Let's check it out. And I actually had this shirt on as well. So. Maybe you recognize the shirt. Oh, why does it not copy the link there? I don't know. Copy. Oh, I copied only the picture and the link. All right. Harlequin 128K introduction. How did I call the video? It's Harlequin special. Okay, let's do special. Yeah, it's special. So if you haven't watched it, then it's in the description right now. Yes, it's saved, so it should be updated if you press F5. But if you press F5, then you will miss maybe a second of the live feed, so maybe you won't. It's up to you. Anyway, hey Patrick, good evening. 150 megabit, whoa, that must be enough. Although with 4K, I can easily stream up to 50 megabits or something, so we still have to be careful, I think. But I don't think the laptop can handle it. It's just an i3, maybe 4th generation or something. So, and it even doesn't have a USB 3 port or something. So the camera works, but it won't work in 4K anyway. So, whatever. Let's get on topic again. Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, I made a video. I just talked about it in the ByteDelight weekly show about my new workstation here at headquarters. So I now have an 8th generation Core i5 at the moment, but that's because the new Core i5 have 6 cores instead of 4. So it's really a very, very fast CPU, which I'm using a lot. So it's definitely faster than my previous machine with the Core i7 in it. So I'm doing live streams, I'm doing all my work, development, email processing, developing video processing, of course, making videos. That's what consumes the most power, I think. But with the reinstallation of the machine, I also had to reinstall OBS, so I just did. And last week I received an order from Conrad, and they included some commercial booklet with leaflet with the Elgato Stream Deck. And I was looking for something like that for a couple of months now. I'm holding the smartphone for a reason, because the Elgato Stream Decks are from about 120 euros or something, 120 euros. So it's not cheap, and that's the cheapest one, by the way, with only 6 keys, and the keys are actually screens, so OLED screens displays. So you can configure each screen as a touch button for OBS, for example, to change a scene or do something else. So it's a really cool system, but it's still expensive, and if you want more buttons, then it will be more expensive. And for example, what you can do is just use another keyboard and put stickers on the keys, for example, but it's not the same experience as having something flexible as icons that you can change and can touch. So what I did is I was googling for alternatives for the Elgato Stream Deck, and I found some Android apps. There was one that wasn't available anymore. Well, the Android app was, but the PC tool you needed wasn't available. You couldn't download it anymore, and I think that it was because it was a free tool and it was a commercial company that offered the tool for free. But after some complaints, I think they just pulled it off, and now you can't use it anymore. But what I did is I found another alternative, and it's called Macro Deck, and it's a very cool tool because it's on Android, available on Android, and I think it's even iOS as well. And what you can do is you can just install the app on your phone and install the Windows or the Apple utility on your PC. You have to connect to your PC, of course, then from your smartphone, and you can do all the configuring on your utility on your PC. So on your screen on the smartphone, you only see these buttons, and you can change the icons if you want to. You can make it cooler if you want. But this is just some default configuration. It shows at this moment 4 options to change scenes, and what it does is once you press one of these icons, it will do a key press on your Windows machine. And if you configure the key press in OBS to do something in OBS, then it will do something in OBS. And I can show you what happens because I programmed one that won't mess it up. If I press this 10 button, then you will see this. And I don't think you want to see that too long because it looks ridiculous anyway. But that's how simple it can be, and it's really not the most difficult tool. You have to get used to it a bit, but it works really well. And what I did. All right. Now I see you have to be focused on your application because otherwise, Control F4 is one of the shortcuts I programmed that works in OBS. But if you do that on what's happening here? If you did it on alright, on Chrome, of course, then you will just close down the windows of Chrome. Sorry. So music is back. I had to yeah, sorry. I had to put in something new, you know. It's not. No, it's not a Vega Plus. But you can do the coolest things with these apps, and this is an app for. I'm not sure if you can only put on 15 icons here. I think it's enough for most purposes. Maybe you can put on more. I don't know. I have to check it. Let's check the configuration here. Can you put on more? I don't think so. But I hope you can, for example, switch between sets of icons or something. Or you can import layouts and that sort of thing. So you can import now and export them. So even when you reinstall the tool, you can still use the layouts, which I think is great. So if you're looking for it's still fun, you know. Anyway, okay. Well, it's really busy on the stream. Thank you for watching, everybody. Okay, I just explained my alternative for the Elgato Stream Deck, and I think it's a great alternative. I'm just going to plug in my smartphone to the charger because I have no idea how long it will hold. If you just the good thing is, by the way, that the app will keep the screen on all the time. So that's a good thing because many apps just switch off the phone when you're not using it for a couple of minutes. Of course, when depends on how you configured it. But this app will just keep it on all the time. But of course, that will drain your battery, and it's not a big problem because finally I managed to get another working battery. This was the original old one for my Xiaomi phone. And I ordered one from Germany, I think, because I wanted it quickly and a couple of weeks ago, and that replacement battery just didn't work. I tried to charge it, and then in about 2 minutes it said that it was fully charged and didn't hold any charge. You know, it was I think something like a fake battery or something. I don't know. It wasn't working, so I got my money back. And now I bought some from a reliable supplier, I think from AliExpress. And these only cost €4 or something, so that's not a problem. It's a couple of minutes work, so no problem at all. Peter, good evening. Peter, help me out with the cases I need. Please read your PMs. Sorry for bobbing in on you in this way. That's one of the things this week. Oh man, I was so busy with all the new stuff, and it's very hard at the moment to keep up with stock. And I don't mean completed products, which is also hard because you could see here the Pro 1 interface is getting assembled. But it's mainly getting parts that I need for assembling anything. And it's really getting faster and faster, the orders that I get in. So I have to put in more stock, and that's very hard. But the good thing is that I think about 80% of what I order comes from Europe nowadays, and most of it arrives within 2 days, so that's not a problem. Only the cases, like let's get one here, like the cases for the Pro 1 interface, which arrive in white because they are laser sintered printed. Is that English? I don't know. And these take about 2 to 3 weeks to get produced and arrive. And that's because the machines that are made in, they're big machines, but there's always a queue for the companies that have those big machines. The machines are really expensive. And I think they have about a dozen of those machines now in Belgium, where I order them. And that's because they have all kinds of materials that you can print with. So this is just nylon powder, but you can also choose for other types of plastic, or elastic rubber material, and you can use metals, even gold and silver. So you can print about any material that's possible, and that's great, I think. But for them, they have to use, I think, a new machine for each new material that they offer to produce it in. So probably they have a couple of machines for nylon printing. Cannot think otherwise. And I think they do a great job. I just hope that the price will go down a bit, because it's really expensive custom printing this quality. And of course you can put a 3D printer at home, but it's not the same quality at all. That's only for prototyping, if I ever would do that. I'm thinking of putting a 3D printer at home, because I would like to learn my kids how to design 3D objects and then have them printed. And of course you have to keep in mind some specific ways of designing when you're going to print it on your own 3D printer at home. But I can learn them how to. And for some of my own prototypes, I think I would like to have a 3D printer. Anyway, maybe in the future. The main problem at the moment is not money, but space. You know, you can see the pick and place machine and the laptop and at the left of it. I still have to get them to use, and they take up a really huge amount of space in this not too big of a space. Chris is already asking for about a pick and place machine, and we'll talk about it in a minute. And Peter, yeah, I understood that you're very, very busy as well. We all are very busy, and that's a great thing, you know. It's not a problem. It's just the problem is trying to get all the stuff that needs to be done in the week. And I just can't manage, because the kids want my attention as well, and they deserve my attention and they need my attention. So I try to be flexible. And sometimes, for example, today I needed to clear my head a bit. So my wife and I, the kids were at school, so my wife and I just got out for an hour, going thrifting. And tomorrow we will visit the week market. That's the Dutch word for it. I don't know how you pronounce it in English correctly, but anyway, where you can buy fresh bread and food and all that sort of things, and lady bags and clothes and other stuff. But we go there often for fresh chicken. We like it a lot. It's freshly cooked there. I really like the smell and the heat of the machines. And tomorrow it will be cold here in Holland. It will rain a lot, so I think that will be a perfect moment to get to the market, although we will get wet when we go back. Anyway, I digress, I want to say, because some people are really good in that. Yeah, well, some news from this week. I want to share it with you. Oh, and I forgot to create a scene with which I can share. I think we just have to do it now. Why not, So let's put that to the right here. Yes, that's it. And zoom in. Whoa. I think that's good enough. I think we can see that if I add the screen capture. And most often that goes wrong at the first attempt because it's picking the wrong screen, but let's do it anyway. Screen capture. Yeah, okay. Alright, we're almost there. Oh, that's good, okay. Yeah. I think it works. Ah, there it is. Yes! So, well, let's do it this way, why not, Can I just copy this? I can duplicate it. Oh, that's great. Main with screen capture. Now you see me, now you don't. So now I can switch between these two scenes and I can just remove it from this scene. Yeah, that's great. So I can switch. Yeah, okay. OBS is so great, man. Anyway, of course, who you see here is Jim Bagley. Is it Bagley or Bagley? I don't know, actually. I never pronounced it before. And what I was interested in is not the next box here, but the picture on the right button. And what I saw here really surprised me because I've never seen it before. And it actually surprised me more. It wasn't new. It wasn't even something from the next team itself. But it's a portable ZX Spectrum, as you can see, and it really looks like a cool device with keys and with a battery pack and that sort of thing. And I can show you what it's all about when I get back to the other. Oh man, to my program here. I'm really messing it up now. Just a sec, please. Let's see. Well, we visit IKEA all the time, Mark, because it's really around the corner. I must tell you, when we moved over here about 15 years ago, yeah, it was 14 or 15 years ago, we sometimes went to IKEA, for example, and other shops on the same area, and we took the freeway because we thought that was the only way of getting there. So we had to get out of our town and then go to the freeway and then arrive at IKEA. But we didn't know there was just a road just next to our how do you call it? Oh man, I have to translate it because I don't know the English word for it. District? No, it's not district. Okay, maybe it's district. I don't know. So our living block. I don't know what the word for is. But there's a road going from our where we live to directly to IKEA. So it's only it's going out of this district and then driving a road and you automatically arrive at IKEA. So there was really no need of getting on the freeway at all. And I didn't know that back then. But anyway, it was cool. We found out that after about 2 years or something. Oh man. I think that's because I'm not good at topology. I think, because I really am happy with Google Maps on my smartphone nowadays. Anyway, I digress again. So let's get back to the portable ZX Spectrum next. I think I will just put on the picture again because there's more info on there. Just a sec. There should be more info. Let me check if I can find it. There was a link somewhere here. Yeah, I think it's here. Yeah, okay, I can show you guys now. It's no secret, or by the way, it's just I have to look it up. So this is a web page from someone that explains it's not. There's no next board inside. It has nothing to do with the official Spectrum Next Kickstarter or the team. It's simply an attempt to create a handheld using 3D printing the technology and a smaller version of the ZX Spectrum Next board. And what he did, so this is his 3D design, which is already great if you watch it. But what he did is just oh, it's township. Okay, thank you guys. Subdivision township. Right. We live in Eindhoven, and there's nothing you can not find in Eindhoven. So everything is here. So this is his 3D design, which also already looks great. And I think he, I'm not sure, but I think he had it printed by a machine at home. I'm not sure. Let's check it out. Oh no, this seems to be laser sintered as well. I think, not sure. Maybe he just did it on a printer at home and then used some solvents, yes, of course, solvents, the solvents, so like acetone or something, to make it better on the outside. I don't know. So this is the ZX Spectrum Next, but it's not what he did. He created some of his own designs here, by reverse engineering the Next board, by the way, which is a challenge on itself. And this is the result inside of the case. So this is his own design, his own board, and what you see here is all the extra boards and technology used for driving the screen. I'm not sure what the resolution is. I guess, oh, it's here. No. Anyway, it's an HDMI screen, so most probably it's full HD screen or something. I don't know. But he managed to put it in this small case, which is awesome. And my first reaction was, well, you have a Vega Plus killer there, and you cannot call it a Vega Plus killer because the Vega Plus never arrived at people, not in the state it should be. Anyway, this is also, no, this is home printed. This is home printed, I think. I think it's home printed, but it's improved with some smart ways. And I think he used just the buttons from the DS that it showed here. He was showing a DS, and I think he used those buttons there. You killed the DS. Anyway. I think you can pick up a DS for €10 or something here in Holland. They're really cheap now. My daughter is still using one, and she tries to do that when she should get to bed. But like me, she has some kind of autism, and it's very busy in her head. And she doesn't want to sleep before 11 o'clock. And sometimes she's a bit oh man, am I thinking in Dutch again? She's just a bit tired, and then she gets a bit angry, you know. Anyway, but most of the time it's a really cool kit, so I won't mind too much. I really like this design. I really like it has a keyboard, and what I was thinking of myself being inspired by this is why not? Because it's not small, as you can see here. Why not use a standard Harlequin board then? It's still, it was probably, oh, you can see it. Let's put this button here. Yeah. If you use a board like this and you have the LCD above and some kind of keyboard on the bottom, and of course battery pack, power bank or something, that would be the most easy way, because power bank outputs 5 volt and you need 5 volt only, so why not? I think it would be very cool if I can find out a keyboard that fits in here. I was even thinking about the ZX81 keyboard, but of course that's different. But if it would work, maybe I will just put it in. But I think the matrix of the ZX81 keyboard is different. Anyway, it would be very cool if you can make a portable ZX Spectrum with parts that you can simply get now. You know, so not anything difficult. The only thing that would be needed would be a case. But that's not the biggest problem. I just want to make one when I find some time, most probably when I'm frustrated and have done too much work or something. I will just grab an hour and work on my portable ZX Spectrum, but not now, maybe later. So just to finish it off, Jim Bagley also said, it's not an emulator, it's the same FPGA and RAM as the next, just on a smaller board, and it doesn't need to fit in the 48K or next case and reach the sides. So it's a really cool design, and I really would like to meet the guy who did that, because it's a really great job if you ask me. Let's get back to some of the chat, because I'm really not following it at the moment. Did I say ZX80? I meant ZX81. I have the membranes completely new, so that's not a problem. And maybe just if the ZX81 keyboard would be good enough, I'm not sure if you're missing keys, but you can just print an overlay with the ZX Spectrum keywords on it. Why not? You know, that would be easy. So it's just getting a membrane, a keyboard or something that has the correct matrix, keyboard matrix, and if it's not possible to find one, then I would say I will design one myself. It's not the most tough thing to develop or design, or just on a prototype or something. I've done it before. Mark, you're not allowed to say kill ZX80. It's YouTube unfriendly. YouTube doesn't want that. Alright. So that's about the portable Next, how I call it, and it's not something like by the Next team, but I hope someone will go on with something like that, because it's awesome if the Next team itself would design a portable thing like that. That would be perfect if they would do that. There's no one else that can step in and do it, because there's such an advantage, of course. You know what I mean. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, I was talking about a pick and place machine, and yeah, I really need to get using that, because now the amount of orders are increasing, and I'm still doing lots of things by hand. Man, I really wished that machine was already running, but it's not. It will take another couple of weeks. There's a couple of things I have to do, and explain some of it in separate videos when I was unboxing the pick and place machine, for example. One of the things I need to do, and all the parts are there already. You can see the laptop, I think. Yeah, you can see it. There's also a dedicated router for the dedicated network, separate network that I will use with the pick and place machine, because I really don't trust the software that comes with the machine, and I really don't want to connect it to my home network here, business network, which is a risk if you ask me. Maybe I can create a virtual network or something, but I think this is for now it's the best way, because it won't be often that I need to transfer files over to that laptop. And of course it would be easy by just grabbing a USB stick and doing it by that way. And the files that I need to transfer are only, I think, CSV files, so not more than that. So just to be safe, I will install it on a separate network. I have to read through the manual, which is large, very thick manual to get through. I have to set up the machine. I have to even get another wooden plate because the machine was too deep to fit on the desk there. And I hope it will not make too much, wobbling. That it will cause the whole desk to start moving, because this desk is just one large desk in this room here. Really, Crown Sinclair has a handheld coming? Oh, I have to Google that. No, the 2068 is not small enough, Mark. That won't fit. Grant Sinclair. I have seen something like his C5 alternative, but it's ridiculous if you ask me. But what is he showing off then? Handheld, okay. It's here, a handheld. Sinclair turns Raspberry Pi into the customer handheld. That's not too interesting if you ask me. Poco is a smart smartphone, blah blah. Called Poco. No, let me just. Oh man, all the commercial here. Let me just share it with you. So Sinclair turns a Raspberry Pi into customer handheld. It says Raspberry Pi has been used in the design of its first consumer handheld credit card-sized microcomputer from Sinclair, one of the most famous UK brands in computing. Called Poco, it's the work of developer Grant Sinclair, who is the nephew of Sinclair, Sir Clive Sinclair. Okay, and is this it? No. What is this? I don't know. I don't know. It has the usual sensor capabilities. It will cost around $300. Come on, man. Is this it? It seems so. Poco. Okay, so this is the Poco. The first time I've heard about it. There's no Sinclair branding on it. So it's not a computer, I think. What is it? It's a small screen smartphone without a voice call and text capability. It's just a smartphone. It's called a Poco and it's $300. Okay, IPS touchscreen. Very small, 2.8 inch. Wow. And it's based on a Raspberry Pi. But why? Okay, maybe he sees something that I don't see in this market. But anyway, if it's Sinclair related, then I hope it will be a success, of course. Oh, there's even a website. Okay, sorry. Sorry I missed that. Alright. Chris, no, the machine will not be dispensing solder. For that I will use stencils. So those very small, thin metal steel plates that you can brush over, and then the solder paste will be only at the places that it should be. Then you put it in a pick and place machine and it assembles it with all the parts, and then you put it in the oven and it's ready. That would be the target situation, of course, but it will take weeks. So Poco Phone F1, very strange, because of all the big brands that make such an amount of smartphones. But okay. Enough about that. We'll see about that. And we just want a portable ZX Spectrum, don't we? And I'm not talking about only the Omni, of course, from Georgia, from China, because that's still big, large. Of course, it's a completely original looking ZX Spectrum with an LCD, but it's a cool machine anyway. But it's not the thing I would like, and I can sell it here, because there is an original ROM inside, which still has a copyright on it, and it would be legal if I would sell something like that. So let's get back to this week's topics. Alright, enough about a pick and place machine. I did some first tests with the Golic interface that arrived. Where did I leave them? Oh, there. And these ones arrived with, I will unpack this one as well. These ones arrived with some very odd firmware, from what I understand from other people. What's inside here? Screws, okay. So these are the most simple ones with the 3-digit display, which is the least expensive one and good enough for most purposes, I think. Maybe a small introduction to Golic. It's a floppy emulator, so the floppy connector, which will work with any IBM PC wired floppy interface, but you can use a sugared interface like a Disciple, plus D Lite, Beta Disk or something else. Just check the wiring. Most important are twisting wires 10 to 12, so 3 wires only, which is very easy. And 5-volt it needs. There's some jumpers here for example, switching between drive 1 and drive 2. And then you can put in here a USB stick, and this firmware has its own proprietary file system on the USB stick. So it will format it as disk partitions, as it calls it. So if you power on the system and hold the 2 buttons, it will start formatting 1.44 megabytes of disk partitions, and on a 1 gigabyte stick, there will be about 600 of them. And then you can just press the buttons to switch between those disk partitions, and it's really simple. It's not difficult at all. But that firmware doesn't work with those sugared or retro computer interfaces at all. For that you need flash floppy, and I didn't know that, so I was struggling getting it to work, and I didn't get it to work. What I did, by the way, is mounting an original drive and the Golic on top of each other this way at the moment, because what I want to do is offer the dual floppy drive sets with one Golic and one real floppy drive in the future, so as a separate product. And I think there will be a demand for that, and I think it will be very cool, because you can use this as an HD system or a double density system, not single density unfortunately, but this would be a cool combination. And I'm not sure if the Golic should be on top or on the bottom. I don't know. It's both possible. So the only thing that I think I really have to do in this solution would be adding a switch to swap drive 1 and drive 2. Otherwise you cannot boot from real floppy if you, for example, made that drive 2 from real floppy, and so I have to put in that switch, otherwise it won't be flexible enough, I think. So that's something for the future. I will work on that, but I first have to install the other firmware, which is easy, but I just didn't have time for it yet. So all in time, you know, a lot of other work. Yeah, so the big topic from this week for me, it's the Harlequin 128K kits. Should I show you more of that at the moment? Because I've made a separate video about it, and you couldn't find all the details on zxspectrum.shop. It's really a cool kit, and you really have the feeling you're working on a toast rack. I think that's the greatest thing about it, and I think it's slightly less expensive than getting a real toast rack, because you can buy the Harlequin kit for, what was it, 90 euro I think. Let me check. The kit with all the parts is, it's just over 100 euro, so I think it's 90 pounds. Yeah, it's 90 pounds. And then you need a ROM chip, of course. I think I have a couple left in the shop. Let me check again. Where is the ROM? Yeah, 4 left in the stock. And you can burn your own ones if you want to, which is cheaper, of course, but I cannot advise it, because it's illegal to do that, because there's still copyrights on it. And some people really try to make it clear to me that it's illegal. So, okay, they're completely right, but I don't think anyone will bother if you burn your own chip at home for yourself, for personal use. Of course, I cannot advise it, but I don't think it will be a big problem. But still, I have a couple of original chips. You can even use a +2 ROM if you want to, almost as a toaster ROM, so that won't matter at all. I think there's only Amstrad logo instead of Sinclair logo, of course. And I think you can even, that's one thing I wanted to check, you can even use a 48K basic ROM, because why not? What would you use 128 basic for, you know? If you can just run games and software for the ZX Spectrum 128K or +2, but you only have 48 basic, why not? So if I'm out of 128K ROMs, then you can still use 48 basic ROM. There's no problem with that. And by the way, if you are using a diff MC interface, then you only can use 48 basic. So that's what makes it clear that you can use a 48 basic ROM in a Harlequin 128K. It won't be a problem at all. The only thing you're missing out is the 128K basic, including the play command and what more, renumber options and that sort of thing. And the untokenized basic, of course, if you like that. But if you want a complete kit with legal parts, then just grab 48 basic ROM if I'm out of 128 basic ROMs. So, well, Matt, if you already have a toast rack, well, I really felt like, wow, I've made my own ZX Spectrum when I built my first Harlequin 48K kit, and that's really an experience on its own. And I think it's really cool if you're into that. It's not really about saving money because it's not that less expensive. But it's really cool to build your own one, and without UDA chip, what Chris Smith has been working on for years, and he did a great job making this possible by his reverse engineering of the Ferranti UDA chip. So I really am thankful to him and Dan Superfo and others working on the Harlequin kits, because it's not my own development. I just offer them here. And what I did, by the way, is Miroslav Werner spoke to me yesterday from Slovenia, I think, Czech Republic, I'm not sure, I have to check that. And he told me that he also encountered a small problem with some demos that crashed on the Harlequin board. And I encountered something like that before on my ZXAY kits when I used a specific type of logic chips. So all the ZXAY kits are no problem using with any demos nowadays, because I found out that in time before selling any with the wrong chips. But now this Harlequin, many 128K clone boards have an issue with addressing the 3-channel sound chip. And Werner and I got into contact because Werner already spoke to Dawn, and Dawn got a solution for it. So I tested the solution and it really works, so I'm really happy with that as well. And I don't think I've made a video about it, and I think, oh, it's there, I can show you, just a second. Because I have the board where I did the modification on here. So let's just show it to you. And I even got a... Right. So, there's only one wire needed. Let me show you guys here. It's even hard to find a wire, but it's there. There's only one wire needed, and you have to cut. Right there, and then you will solve the problem with the addressing of the AY chip. But it's a really small problem. It only affects a couple of demos. And I've written a document for it, so it's on the. I will send this with the sold Harlequin kit, and I updated the manual, so it's in the manual as well. But yeah, of course, you can, if you're using a real ZX Spectrum, you can get out the ROM and use that for your Harlequin board, but I would never encourage anyone to kill a ZX Spectrum for that, of course. So you have to find an alternative for your ZX Spectrum then. Alright, so all the Harlequin thingies are on ZX Spectrum shop. Let me just show you it again here. So this is the web page on the web shop specifically for the 128K kits. So a whole range of them. The smallest one, only the board and the manual, and the one SMD chip. Then the kit and the assembled ones, and all the accessories. So the ROM, the power supply, the RGB cable with stereo sound, a rainbow LED case if you like that, and a rubber case with new faceplate, new membrane, a plus case, and which are sold out at the moment. And if you really want to go all the way, then you can, for example, add the Pro 1 interface, which I think is the best FMC interface at this moment. Hope I'm not mistaken. And the ZXHD interface, which really is one of the interfaces people like a lot at this moment. So, enough about that. Hey, I hear a hey at the back. Anyway. Alright, so I should have gotten the SpectraNet interface ready this week. Instead of Harlequin Kits. That was the original planning. But I needed some more time to get all the kits ready, and I needed to order some parts that I didn't have enough in stock. So that was what I did last week. But they're in now, and about all parts are in. But still have to do more ordering of, for example, cases for other products and that sort of thing. And I sold about 10 kits in a day, just over a day. So that's great news for my financial planning, if you ask me. Okay, talking about planning, what else will I do for the next days? Someone replied to the announcements video of this show and thought the interface there were SpectraNet interfaces. Sorry to disappoint him. These are the Pro 1 interfaces, and these are almost ready now. So all the oh, it's not focusing. I'm purposely disabled autofocus because it was messing up continuously, so let's put it on again. Yep. Now you are allowed to focus. Focus. Yeah, you can do it. Focus. Focus. And now you see it doesn't want to focus. Why not? Okay. Just doesn't want to focus on this board. Why not? Okay, we'll do it manually then, man. I hate this. Okay, that's it, yeah, this is great. So this is the Pro 1 board, it's almost finished. I have 15 of them, was working on that today. And I need to do a lot more. No, it's not your glasses, it's just me. So we're back in focus again. Right, what's the next topic? Yeah, planning, we're talking about planning. So, I was talking to Thomas Cherryholmes because he really is waiting for a SpectraNet and a Harlequin board because he wants to have a real development system for his online services for SpectraNet, and he's doing all of that in emulators at the moment. But he wants to have some real hardware, and I think I will send him the first SpectraNet to get to know the SpectraNet and talk about this, discuss it, the two of us, and maybe someone else as well. I have to check it because I have a specific development group on Facebook for those purposes. Because we have to get to know the SpectraNet interface. I don't have one, I just have the parts at the moment. I have used one once or twice maybe with SpecTank, great game, with SpectraNet, so, but that's all I know about it. And I think SpectraNet deserves a new life, new start, and I hope with offering new SpectraNet interfaces we can do just that. So I hope to finish the first ones next week, and then we can continue testing that and creating a web page with all the features, manuals, and links to the services that are available at the moment. And there are already a couple of services available, so that's great. But all the time. There's still something else I really would like to do, and that's offer all the products that are on ZX Spectrum shop, also on eBay and on Sell My Retro and other places. And I'm not doing that right now because I'm really already too busy. So I hope I will get the pick and place machine up and running real soon, and I can do just that. And there was another reason that I couldn't, for example, offer the ZX HD on eBay, and that's because I didn't have enough Raspberry Pi boards, and I'm not combining them. I'm selling those separately because of the licensing rules. But RaspberryPi.org sent me 100 Raspberry Pi Zero interfaces today, so those will arrive on Monday. 100 new ones, so I can go on with those. And 100 may not sound like much, or it may sound like much, but it really isn't that much because I sell 100 in about 2 months now. I think. Yeah, I think about now, maybe a bit less, but not that much. But what I do is I try to obtain more Raspberry Pi Zeros all the time, every week, in smaller quantities. That's all I can say about it, because people are allowed to only buy one at a time still. And I was talking to a Dutch company, Kiwi, to one of the sales representatives, and they're still not allowed to offer me a larger amount than one. So the only way of getting more is at RaspberryPi.org itself, and it may sound like, why didn't you do that before? Well, I actually did it before, last year. So this is my second batch of 100. But the thing is that they're a real lot more expensive than ordering them from the local companies. And that's mostly because I think they are still disencouraging to sell the Raspberry Pis for commercial purposes. I think they really want to encourage mostly to use them for educational purposes. So, but I think what we're doing with it is kind of educational, you know, using it in a retro computer interface, because the Raspberry Pi has, of course, been compared with retro computers many times. So I think we're doing it just great. Look, a lesson about ZX Spectrum. It's cool. Wow, great, man. Can you record it, Patrick? Because I'm really curious. And I've seen more people around Europe mainly using references to ZX Spectrums in presentations at work, for example. So I even used the recreated keyboard at work for some time, but it's I'm still using it, by the way, on a computer here, on a PC, daily. Wow, yeah. Well, we really need some manual writing for a Spectronet in the near future, and I have some documents already, of course, but we'll see. All in time. The people who are involved with development will get a nice discount, of course, for the interfaces, and maybe some other things we have to check. I'm not too shy about that. Alright, another topic. ZX81. Yeah, last week that's one of the things that kept me busy. not only Harlequin Kits, but someone sent me ZX81 for repair, and I had more ZX81s in stock. In the past I just gave them away because they weren't worth that much, with €10 maybe, something like that. But they are getting more valuable by the day at the moment, like lots of other stuff. It's really ridiculous what people pay nowadays. So it's really worth the time to repair those things and refurbish them with new keyboard membranes and capacitors, of course. Only 2, by the way. So 4 chips and 2 capacitors, and that's it. And add a heatsink to the ULA chip, because they also get very hot. Anyway, so I'm working on ZX81s, and I'm getting messages from everywhere on my smartphone in the corner here on Windows 10. So that's why I'm distracted sometimes. Sorry for that. Thank you, Peter. I'm doing so many things at a time, but it's my fault. I know. It's just how my brain works, and that's why I can focus on one thing at a time, and I really have to. So that's why sometimes it looks like that I'm very organized, but it's just what I need to getting things done here. Otherwise, I would just be a chaotic person. ZX81s. So I've started with ZX81s, and I have a couple of cool pictures, I think, about those. Let me see. Yeah, I think I have them here. So this is the ZX81 Owners Club group on Facebook. I wonder, by the way, guys, if you can read this. Let me move this over here so I can. Can you read? Is it big enough for you to read? Because the resolution is quite high, so I think you should be able to read it. Yeah, you can read it. If I just enlarge my OBS window, then I can see it myself. Yeah, well, Mark, indeed. I did some work on ZX81, ZX80s and your Micro Ace, but ZX81 is even simpler. So I don't know why I didn't do that before. But anyway, ZX81. So what I did is, this is the first one I actually repaired. This is the one from the customer. What I did is put in a new ULA chip, and it's heat sinked already after making this photo. But you can see the new capacitors here. I tested the ROM, the ZD CPU. Oh, I'm thinking of something, by the way, in a second. And I had some troubles with the saving to tape, and I found out, and I made a specific video about that. It was caused by just a tape recorder. You need an old tape recorder for that, not a modern daddy recorder. So that's one thing I learned. It took some time, but it's worth it, I think. I'm thinking that maybe you can use Z80s with a defective M1 line in the ZX81. Oh, you didn't see what I was doing. I was ducking here because maybe I'm not allowed to say that, but I think it would be cool because what interfaces use M1 on the ZX81? Of course, the ZX Spawn, for example, will use it. But what is going on here, man? Okay, that's strange. Your one link was accepted, Mark, and the other one was refused. I'll just accept it here. I can do so many things here on YouTube. Anyway. So I started with ZX81s. I have a couple of board pictures here. I did 5 boards in a couple of days. Of course, not the only thing I'm doing, because it's not that time consuming working on ZX81s. But you can see how simple these boards are, and it's so cool. And I can really understand that Sir Klaus Sinclair himself is very proud of the ZX81, because it's a complete computer with only, what he says, 3 chips. But of course, if you count in the RAM, then it's 4 or 5 chips, depending on the Timex model or the European model. I think the Timex has 2K and the European has 1K. I have to check. So that was another picture, and this is the video about the saving to tape, which was a problem in the past. Hey Mark, it's your post. Lots of posts here. Micro Ace repairs. Oh, you can see it. Sorry. So this is Mark's picture. These are my pictures. Sorry about that. Oh man, I really need more displays here, because if I just had one more 24-inch IPS panel, which is really big, if you have 3 of them, then I can just keep all the windows open at all time and see what's happening in the back, because I really need one screen for only watching the chat. I don't think there's any other way possible, because it needs more than half a display, and I really already have the high resolution displays here. So it's not 4K, but it's higher than what is it, UWXGA or something it's called, I think. Anyway, let's get back on topic. Right, So ZX81 repairs. So ZX81 is one of the new products I will most probably offer in the future on eBay or on my website. We'll see. Completely refurbished ones if you like. And what also surprised me, by the way, if we're talking about ZX81, I did a poll on Facebook a couple of weeks ago asking people with which computer they started their hobby with. And it's really surprised me that almost 50% of the people started with ZX81. And I really thought that most people started with ZX Spectrum because I asked it in the ZX Spectrum group. But many people started with a ZX81, and that doesn't include me, but because I started with a ZX Spectrum, I completely skipped the first two models of Sinclair, and three if you count the MK14 with that, which is, by the way, in Bart's museum in Helmond. He has one locked away, but I think if I ask him, I'm allowed to touch it, but maybe not. I don't know. But I've seen him MK14 a couple of times. It's the first computer with. Is it a Z80? I don't know. MK14. I forgot. I forgot which CPU was in it. I forgot. I have to look it up. It's not a Z80. What is it? Come on, man. 7. Fuck, I can't see it. Pictures are low quality. So it's not a Z80. It's a sort of a development board with a number keypad, and I cannot see what CPU is in here. No, I don't know. Anyway, there's even some replicas available, so it's still cool. But Bart got an original one with the original display, which is really cool, and very well keypad. So it's awesome that he has one of those. No, it's not Z80. And I remember programming on the microprocessor. I don't know if you guys know that machine. I think that's Z80. I'm not sure. And those are getting more valuable by the day as well. But I have programmed on that machine years ago, maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I don't know. And it looks a lot like the MK14 if you compare it on features, because you have to assemble type an assembly by, I think, hexadecimal codes or something. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, that sounds like overkill. 27-inch 4K displays on a on a laptop with a 4K display as well. Man, I don't have 4K displays yet. In the future, all in the future. I think my setup is good enough for now, but of course I would like more and better. And who doesn't, you know? All right. So enough about ZX81 and in the past, and let's get to the last thing I have on my list here of things to check out in this box here. And now the light will probably flash on here. Yeah. Right. So this is from last week, and I think this makes it clear what's in Opus Discovery. And I had so many of those in the past. A decently looking Plus with an issue 3 board in it. I think, yeah, it's just a normal 3. Maybe, oh no, it's a 6, I think. It's an issue 6. Let's just open it up, you know. I don't have space there, so I have to do it here. And unfortunately, I'm not going to install a second camera at this moment because I don't want to. I will just show you. And because last week I found an issue 1 in another shipment. I made a specific video about that. I hope you have seen it because it was a big surprise for myself. Maybe I should just not sell the issue 1 because I could just collect those boards, you know. I have so many different boards now. I even have a Samsung issue 3B, which is as rare as an issue 1. Someone told me, ByteDelight told me. But I always say I'm not a collector, and I don't want to collect. And I'm not giving away them as well to people like Renee, the hoarders. So what's in here? It's just an issue 3, and that is a new keyboard membrane, it seems. This is a new one, yeah. The blue ribbon ones. These are definitely not old. So that's great as well. Yeah, this is really new. He didn't tell me that it was a new keyboard membrane. So it's an issue 3, it's not issue 6, I was mistaken. So it needs new capacitors, and it seems one upper RAM socket has been swapped by someone, but not anything else that's special here. Most probably it has still antenna output. No, yes, it has. It's not modded to composite video yet, so some minor work on this one. I hope. I haven't tested it yet, of course. And it's good to have another plus case, because people really like to order the separate plus cases. Oh, there's one thing, by the way. I think I have about 50 or 60 original power supplies now, and I really don't know what to do with those. Because I offer refurbished original ones in the web shop and the new switching ones, but people really only buy the switching ones and not the original ones. So even although I put new capacitors in. Alright. Oh man, this is heavy, like always. Yep, what's this? Something in here. Right, oh, this is cool. I would think that's one of my kits, I'm not sure. So this is an Opus Discovery. It doesn't have the original plug, I can see that, because this has been taken out. Maybe, I wonder if this... I really think I have sold this Opus Discovery to someone in the past. Because I remember this hole, and I remember swapping one of the cables in the past. So maybe this is my work. I don't know. Anyway, what I can also see is the second floppy drive. It might be one of my kits, and now I'm really curious, because I can see if it's a kit from me, because I do always mark something on the chips that I sent with it. I don't know what's in here. What is this? An interface, joystick interface, I think. Not too special, but I have so many power supplies. There's so definitely a couple of mint ones. Okay, so it's just a Decatronix dual port joystick interface, nothing special there. Nobody wants them as well, but because I see that everything gets more valuable, I won't throw them away. Let's check what's in here. I really think this is one of mine, but I'm not sure. Maybe it just looks like it. And if it would be one of mine, then it would really surprise me that it's sold for this price, because I probably sold it for a larger amount back then. But I haven't sold one for years, so yeah, big white out. Many Opus Discoveries have a black cable with a black plug, because they were made in Holland, I think. Oh no, these are made in the UK, by the way. Sorry. But most of them have indeed the UK plug in it. So let's see. Now these are not my chips. I can see that because let me show you. So there's the new ROM chip. The version 2.2 is in here. I see on the label that's written on it. So I will upgrade it to 2.31. The RAM chip is in there. That's needed for the second drive, the RAM chip, and the ROM is needed for the 128K support. And let's see what else is done here. I think there's a new joystick socket here. Oh, it's improved, so it won't break off. That's a good thing. This is the first time I've seen that. And the bad thing is that the original Rectifier bridges are still in here, which are really bad if you ask me. These die very, very easily, so maybe you have to replace them as well. I think I have better ones. An original power supply, and you can easily swap the original power supply by switching one if you want to. Then use a DC-DC converter for example, you use a 12 volt switching power supply, and then use a DC-DC converter for the 5 volts. And that's really a great way of getting the voltages that are needed. The only thing is that the Opus Discovery supplies 12 volts to the ZX Spectrum instead of 9 volts, so the voltage regulator inside the ZX Spectrum tends to get a little more hot with an Opus Discovery attached to it. But anyway, this is mounted well. The only thing I would do personally is use the standoffs here, the copper standoffs at the bottom of the drive instead of mounting the drive to the plate, because it looks better when they are both on top. So just aesthetic, you know, but I think it looks better if you do that, because now one of the drives is lower than the other one. If you raise this one with the standoffs, then it looks much better. So that's how I sell the drives with the kits. You can order the kits from the website with 1 or 2 1.44 megabyte drives, and with of course you only have DD compatibility, but it will work greatly. But both drives will have the standoffs by default when I sell them. So anyway, this is an Opus Discovery. I will fix it and will offer it most probably on eBay after doing that. And these are really a lot of work, because for example, I think this is one of the early models where the metal part is just one part, and the later models have the top plate that can be screwed off. So that way you can really get to the board much more easily. This is a harder one because there are 2 very large capacitors in here. You can see them from that side, I think the best. And I have to swap them, but to being able to do that, you have to really open the case, and that's with this version it's very hard. So the case will probably bend a lot. So these are the big capacitor replacements, new ones. But it's not for now. I won't bother with that. Most probably we'll go to the storage for a time, and whenever sales go down, which won't be very soon, I think, I'm afraid. Then I will grab out the Opus Discovery again. I don't think so. The video output of the Opus Discovery, I think it was only monochrome. I think they're using some kind of transistor or something to create the output. It was really bad, I know. It's taken from the edge connector from the ZX Spectrum itself, so it will only work with some models, and Opus Discovery is only compatible with Sinclair models of the ZX Spectrum and the +2, the grey one, and not the later ones from Amstrad. Alright, wow, that's a lot of talking. The video with the music is almost over. It's really cool. Always the guy who makes these videos is really doing a great job. So this is the one I'm running at the moment in the background. It's very, very cool, you know. And I went to a thrift store today, and I saw a couple of tape decks and even an Iowa stereo tower, and I want to buy one for my son. But this one was maybe just a little too old, because it has 2 tape decks. It had 2 tape decks, but also had a 3 CD changer. So I don't know. The thing is, my kids don't use CDs anymore. Although my daughter wanted to save some of the CDs I gave away 2 months ago, because I don't play CDs, only the ones from Jean-Michel Jarre in my car. But anyway, so there's no reason of using something with a CD player, I think. And there's no reason of using something with a tape player, of course, only for fun maybe. So I don't know. Maybe it's a waste of money, and it was only €10 or something. But anyway, what should I get for him? Because I don't want him to have his tablet or smartphone in his room when he's doing his homework. So only a radio or something. I don't know. We have to check for that. He can use his TV for playing music channels, of course. And I showed him last week that he can do that as well if you want to, but it's not the most important thing at the moment. Alright, I think I'm completely through my agenda for today. I wanted to give another demo of the desoldering station, but you guys most probably are laughing when you hear about that, because I've done 2 attempts already live during the show and they're both failed. But I will do that in a later video, because it really works now like it should. It's just something. Maybe I can show you just a couple of details. Maybe that's a good thing, because the things that need to be checked a lot here, and I will just put it this way so you can see it. So there are 3 things that clog up a lot in this desoldering station. This is called the, I don't know, ZD 912 or something, 915, I don't know. So one thing is the cylinder here. The end of the cylinder doesn't get too hot. So if it solidifies before it's getting into the tube here, then it will clog up your cylinder. So you have to put up the temperature to about 300 degrees to avoid that. The second thing is that the felt pad in the container here clogs up very quickly. I don't know how other people do that. I saw a video of someone who's saying that he used the original felt pad for 2 years, but I don't think he has been using the desolderer gun a lot, because mine clogs up after 20 chips or something. I don't know. Then I have to clean it or put in a new felt pad, and it's really already quite filled again. And the other thing was, there's another filter here, another felt pad in the opening here of the machine. And for some reason, although, oh, where is it? Oh, it's here. It's inside the hole here. For some reason, that clogged up as well. But I really wonder how, because all the dirt is stuck here because of the felt pad in the gun itself. So I don't know what happened, but the felt pad here in that part of the machine was really dirty, and there wasn't going any air through that at all. So maybe it was dirty when it was sold. I don't know. But now it works just fine, and I know how to use it, and it's really fast. It's really easy to use. You don't get those stress out thumbs when you're using the manual versions of the desoldering tools, and I've been using those for years. I'd never had a problem with that, but anyway. Well, Martin, no, you're not the only one who plays CDs. As I just said, I still play CDs from Jean-Michel Jarre, my favorite musician, and I still kept my Coldplay CDs, for example. Who's also called Martin, of course, the singer. I'm even thinking of Chris Martin, of course. Stupid band. Thinking of buying the new compilation CDs from Jean-Michel Jarre, and even the new Equinox Infinity album, which should come out any day now. So I'm really waiting of that to arrive, because I really like Jean-Michel Jarre's music, and I really like the new tracks he's been recording. And sometimes he's being a bit foolish by creating just some tracks to keep the companies happy. But anyway, I will buy the new album. Won't be a problem, because I want to play it in the car. Although I'm not driving the car a lot these days, because I'm working only here. But it's not a problem, because we're saving a lot of money just by not using the car, you know. And one of the good things is that my wife will probably join me working on ByteDelight in the near future, especially when the pick and place machine is up and running. because she already quit. No, not should say quit. She swapped the location where she worked in for locations in the area where we live, so she can do that on bike, which is a lot more healthy and a lot less expensive. And we're really thinking of finding a way of replacing the job with work here, because most probably we will earn a lot more money when she works for ByteDelight instead of what she's doing now. So that's something for the future, so that we would be my first employee. Especially if she quits her other job, then it would really be an employee, and I have to check with my accountant and insurance company about that. But I'm not planning on hiring people other than my own wife, because it's a really lot of extra stress that I don't want to have getting employees. It's really also already a challenge getting to work together with my wife, and I will tell you why. Because I don't feel like someone that should give orders to other people. I like doing this work. I'm an idiot, and I like doing this work on my own. I'm an artistic person, and this is what I do best. Just doing those the strange work by hand. But being someone like a manager or something that keep people working, which isn't the case in many companies anymore, by the way, at all, because managers don't set people to work. Most of the people in the IT branch just work on themselves and for a company, and they know what they have to do. But my wife is not the most technical person, and I'm trying to be decent about that. So if I have to, if she wants to operate the pick and place machine in the future, then I really have to be patient and explain how to do that, and to act when something happens that isn't expected, because the machine is a budget machine, as you know, and will always every day need some special attention. So I need to be around all the time to help her out with those situations. But I really have to learn and being patient and explaining things to other people, and that's new for me, and I have an accountant who always says to me, like 2 years ago when I started, 3 years ago when I started with ByteDelight, he told me, well, Ben, I just keep, I think we have to keep in mind that you can always take the step and work full-time for yourself. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So here we are. He also said, maybe in the future you will find a bigger place to work at. And I said to him, no, I won't, because I want to work here. I'm still doing that. And we also talked a bit about employees, but not too much. So that's something I really need to take the time for. There's really a lot of work, so yeah, that's sort of autism, yeah. What I can say about my autism and my son's autism is that we really think in a different way than most people do, and I don't think I think that many of us ZX Spectrum enthusiasts think in that way. I'm not saying that people are autistic or something, but there's a huge difference between me and many other friends in the way of thinking. And sometimes they are just not interested, or they just cannot keep up with my way of thinking. And there are only a couple of people that can understand and keep up with the way I think and talk with them, and those people are artistic as well. And they're not dumb. They're very intelligent, but they're just they just think in a way that really fits with technical work and technical studies and topics. And not all are really that technical, but the way of thinking is in the same way. So it's really strange, and it's hard to describe because I'm not an expert in autism. You know, I'm not a psychologist or something. But I think I can write a book about it, and just about the differences between me and my wife and other people, and the fact that I could completely understand how my son thinks and feels sometimes. Not always, by the way, because he's getting a teenager now. he's 12. But I really feel what he feels a lot better than my wife can. She isn't capable of understanding him completely in the way I can, and that was giving a lot of stress throughout the last years. But we're getting there that we can live, we can find a way of living with it in a good way. So the rest is coming back in time, and because the kids are growing up and getting older, and we are learning of coping with those situations, you know. Yeah, I do as Argos, but I like assembly language, but I'm not doing that all the time. I wish I had the time for that, by the way. And I think the people who like assembly language the most are the people that perform in demo scene parties, demo parties, which I never visited at all. Talking about parties, this weekend, starting from today, I think. Tweakers.net, the Dutch computer website with a large editor headquarters. They organized the first Tweakers Gaming Live, I think it's called that, Tweakers Gaming Live, in the Brabanthalle in the Den Bosch, which I know from inside out because I've been there a lot. And now they're going to play games there the whole weekend and doing some tournaments and that sort of thing. And sometimes I would really like to go to such a party. Sorry, not a party, such a gaming event. But the problem is that me and my son decided not to play violent games anymore recently. So there's no reason going there, you know. So anyway, yeah, well, I think that's enough for today. We've been on for over 1.5 hours. I'm going downstairs to the kids. I actually learned my daughter playing chess last week, so I'm going to do another round of chess with her. And I think she will get a hang of it a bit faster than my son does, because she's really, really bright and intelligent. And I think she might win from me in the future. We'll see. I really like chess. Haven't played it for a long time, and we picked it up last week. I'm even trying to teach my wife, but I don't think she doesn't know chess before 2 days ago. So only checkers, but not chess. So I'm learning the basics at the moment, and maybe we can play a game of chess in time, because those games are real games as well, you know, not only digital games. So guys, thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. Maybe we'll throw up some other videos about several topics. We'll see that. I'm not going into that, Mark. Okay, I hope I'm not forgetting anything, because I have a really lot on my mind. I really have to do a lot of work getting all the orders processed, especially the Harlequin orders, of course. Lots of other things to do. So we'll speak to you later, and I'm going to press the button here that says commercial and see if it works. Let's see. Bye. Head over to ZXspectrum.shop to buy brand new add-ons for your ZX Spectrum. Lots of different products are available. For example, the ZXHD HDMI interface, or the DivMC Enjoy Pro 1 SD card interface, and lots more. Set the currency preference to British pounds or euro, and check out easily. That still works. Also found on our website are links to our Facebook page with weekly updates of all kinds of ongoing projects,
And of course, do subscribe to our YouTube channel with lots of reviews and the ByteDelight weekly show episodes.